Congratulations, you got your first lead from evchargerfast.com. Now, what do you got to do? You got to install that EV charger and fast. So, here's what we're going to do. We're going to show you some of the basic ways to install the simplest, the beginning job of EV charger. That's where the panel is already in the garage, and the load calculation has already been approved, and you're only mounting the charger about 10 feet away. These are the best. They're the lowest price for the customer and some of the highest profit for you. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure that our customer is not getting a charger that needs one of these. We don't want one of these. There's a couple of new things now that we're going to get out of our vocabulary, and that is a NEMA 1450R. This is gone. So is the need for the special cover, gone, and box. Also the word Romex. We're not going to use the word Romex and EV charging together. We're now going to MC cable. So let's talk about how simple this is. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go in front of the panel, and we need to be able to cut a hole approximately 18 inches down from the bottom of the panel. So 18 inches is about that far. So we're going to stay to the left or the right side of the panel because we know we have studs in between, right? The box is mounted in between two 16-inch on-center 2x4s. So we want to be able to cut a hole to bring our new cable out and attach our box to the stud. We don't want to use just plastic anchors and have it flow. We want this solid. If somebody hits it with their bicycle tire or whatever, it's going to stay there. So we're going to take a 4 11/16 box. We're not using a 4-inch box. We're using a 4 11/16 box. We're going to put a little grounding pigtail in it. We're also going to need an MC connector 462. This is not a Romex connector. This is an MC connector. And we're going to need our conduit, 3/4 inch conduit. We're going to use 3/4 inch conduit. We're not using 1/2 inch. We don't need to use 1 inch. 3/4 inch is all we need. Okay, so we're going to measure down those 18 inches, and then I'm going to grab a single gang old work box as a template. Now, we're going to mount that box next to the stud. Now, remember now, we've got drywall in front of us. So we're going to find out where the stud is, and we're going to put that box as close as we can, and we're going to make our mark. We're going to make our outline, right? Once we make our outline, then we're going to take our keyhole saw, and we're going to carefully cut around that box. Now, you have to be careful because there's a lot of cables sometimes being fed from the bottom of the box. So you want to be very careful when you cut the drywall around an electrical box. So we're going to cut that out. Now you can see what we're going to do. We're going to take our 6.2 MC cable because we only need 2 hots and a ground. We've saved our customer money because she doesn't need a NEMA receptacle, which has that awful 50 or 60 amp 2-pole GFCI breaker, which could be hundreds of dollars, and that's where you're going to save your customer money. So your price is going to be cheaper, the customer is going to get it done fast by an expert, and you're going to make more money. So we don't need the white wire. We only need 2 hots, 2 number 6s, and a number 10 ground. So what we're going to do is take our 6.2 Romex, and we're going to strip the armor off enough so that when it gets into the panel, it can reach where our breaker is going to go. There's nothing worse than making that short. Leave yourself enough room, strip the armor jacket off, and make sure you use a red head. Make sure when you buy the MC cable, these should come with it. If not, buy them. I like to put those on. You can see how much bigger that is. That'll fit right inside of the end of the cable. So we've stripped our cable back. We put our red head on. Now we're going to use an Arlington snap to it fitting. We're gonna get the one that has either the 3/4 inch throat, because you've got 2 number 6s and a number 10 ground, and it's deep enough so that it will accept the cable, right? So we're gonna snap that cable on, and now we're going to fish up our wire into that small hole. It's very simple to do. It's only 18 inches. A lot of times you can just do it with the cable, straighten it up. You can put some tape on the end of the cable to make it one and go right up into the hole. It's very simple to do. If not, you could use a little piece of string, get a non-conductive snake, Either way, we're going to be pulling in the full roll of cable that's stripped on the end into our drywall hole, up into our hole into the panel. Pop! We're going to pull that thing up, and that's going to snap in. And that's why we use these snap to it connectors. There's no lock ring on it, as you can see. That'll literally go pop and snap right in. And same with the throat. That literally locks in. You don't need to tighten this up. It'll automatically be a UL approved termination for the MC. Boom. Now our job is done. Now we can almost start counting our money, right? That's the hardest part, right? Cutting that hole, getting that wire up. Boom. So now we're pushing our wires out of the way. And now we're going to take some nice Cully screws. We're not going to use drywall screws. We're going to use a nice wood Cully screw, a couple of them. We're going to put at least 2 into the box, into the stud, right? So here's what we're looking like now. So we've got our stud. We've got our hole that was right here, right? Our wire is coming out. It's now going to be put into this connector. We're going to tighten up that saddle. Now we're going to put it onto here, tighten it up, and we're going to put our screws in so it's a nice strong connection. We already have our knockout. Now what we're going to do is take our full 10-foot piece of conduit. We're going to put an offset in. It's worth it that you spend the money for an offset bender. They're not cheap, but they're worth it. There's nothing harder than making perfect offsets. It's difficult to do. It seems easy, we all do it, but then we end up turning the pipe to make it fit better. Just go get the offset bender. Offset bender, boom, into the pipe, into the connector. And now we want to see where we want to turn up, because remember, we're down low, right? The panel already is low. We're 18 inches lower. So now we're running along the bottom, and then we're going to find where we're going to come up. We're just going to put a simple pencil mark there. We're going to take our pencil, we're going to make a mark, and then on our shoe of our bender, we're going to use the star. And that way, the star will be the 90 that comes up. We don't need to worry about deducting for the shoe if you use the point in the front. Use the star in the center of the shoe. Make your 90, then do another offset, right? Now you're going to take the Tesla wall connector out of the box. It's plastic, right? So it doesn't need to be grounded, but there is a ground terminal. So you have 2 hots and a ground, and you want to make sure that you save, when you open up the Tesla charger, it comes with a special bit like this. Now, you need this bit. I've tried Allen's, I've tried T25. You need this bit. It comes with the charger, so it just has a 1/4-inch driver on it. Don't use a drill with this. Get a little screwdriver handle, and then you're going to put 2 screws in the top, 2 screws in the bottom. You're going to mount your breaker at the end, and then you're going to put the cover on. And at this point, you're going to go to your van, and you're going to send the customer the invoice. So before you clean up, before you even energize that, go right to your van and send the invoice. That way, when you come back and you're cleaning up, you can tell the customer, the office, I don't care how many men or women you are, the office informed me they sent you the invoice. Please review it. You can click pay and pay it directly on the invoice, or you can write a check out, whatever you prefer. But, while we're finishing up, please review that if you have any questions. That takes away that, oh, you have to show up with the invoice. They look at it like, wow, you're only here 1 hour and you're charging me this much money, because they don't realize you're an expert. You're part of evchargerfast.com. You're trained. You've got people like us that will tell you how to do it safely, how to do it successfully, and also pass inspection, which we'll go over on the next video. And that's, my friends, the last thing that I would do is, and again, let me pause this. We show up with electric vans. We show up with electric vans. So we'll plug our van in first. Why? Because we do want to make sure that the system is safe, but we also want to not steal, but we want to grab some charge. So why not charge our vehicle, make sure the charger's going through all its functionalities, and then we get a little bit of a charge. But don't forget to commission your charger. It's Garrett Henderson, EV Charger Fast. See you on the next one.